नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं हूं आपका साथी जेमी ऑल्टर। दोस्तों, आज हम बात करेंगे मेरे खास दोस्त से। हम लोग साथ में थे कॉलेज में कुछ, खैर मैं ये नहीं बताऊंगा कितने साल पहले, बट वेरी प्राउड टू से दैट ही इज़ माई फ्रेंड। इनका नाम दोस्तों है ज़रार सईद और उन्होंने पिछले ही साल अपनी पहली नावल रिलीज़ की है। जी हाँ दोस्तों, इस नावल का नाम है प्योरलैंड। मैंने ये किताब पढ़ी है। इट्स अ फैंटास्टिक बुक और मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ क्योंकि इस किताब के लेखक मेरे दोस्त हैं, बट मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप लोग जाके ये बुक ख़रीदें। इट्स समथिंग वेरी डिफरेंट, especially relevant to the times that we live in here in South Asia. But anyways, without further ado दोस्तों, ये है मेरे दोस्त ज़रार। कुछ दिन पहले हमने एक फ़ोन कॉल किया था, वीडियो कॉल, जिसमें मैंने अपने दोस्त ज़रार से इस किताब प्योरलैंड के बारे में कुछ सवाल पूछे। उम्मीद है कि आपको आज का शो अच्छा लगे। दोस्तों, ये है हमारी चैट, मेरी और ज़रार, द ऑथर ऑफ द बुक प्योरलैंड। Zarrar, welcome to the show. I'm very happy that I'm
Thank you.
starting off my new series with you. I'm very happy to be doing a little bit of a book review. Ask you a few. मैं अपने viewers को बता दूं कि ज़रार और मैं बहुत समय पहले एक ही कॉलेज में थे। We were about to be roommates, but I think better sense prevailed और एन वक्त पे मैंने जो है मैं वहां से निकल के मैंने कहीं और रूम ले लिया, उसी फ्लोर में,
तुम्हारे लिए
उसी
अच्छा
डॉर्म के
हुआ।
बेसमेंट, है ना?
तुम्हारे लिए अच्छा हो
बट
गया।
बिल्कुल, एंड ऑब्वियसली वी हम लोग साथ में रहे टच में पिछले 20 साल में, फेसबुक के थ्रू ऑब्वियसली, और हमारी बातें होती रहती हैं, खास करके विराट कोहली की बैटिंग को लेके। आई नो वी हैव स्ट्रांग व्यूज ऑन हिम, but anyway, jokes aside, Zarar, I think you have a lot to be proud about with your book Pureland. So let's get
Thank you
into
very
it.
much.
I've got a few questions for you. um Zarar, without giving a whole lot about the book, because I want people to go out there and buy the book and read the book. Your main character Salim, so much about his narrative is about struggle from the society he's born into, the humble beginnings he's born into, if we can even say humble. But how he rises against every obstacle. Every time life kicks him down, he finds a way to move beyond that. When you sat down to write the Salim's backstory, what kind of character arc did you have in mind? What was your thought process?
Yeah, basically the thing is the character of Salim was completely accidental. I was writing a story of a younger man who had Salim as an older, father figure in his life. And, it kind of accidentally his life became more important and the younger man became the narrator of the story eventually. But the struggle that you talk about is very quintessential to any storytelling technique, because you have a character, he has a desire, and then he has an obstacle that he has to overcome to achieve that desire. And then in Star Wars, there's Luke Skywalker wants to be a Jedi, but there's so many things in his way, and he has to learn the ropes. So in any kind of really good story, especially novel, you need to have that kind of struggle. But for Salim, I think the idea kind of changed over time. I started writing this book 7 years ago. So various people, have come in and out of my life and who have influenced the way the character building actually was constructed. So I think that's pretty much it.
Mm. It's also one of the main themes. Also, lost. It's actually, when you strip down, it's also
Yeah,
a very
yeah,
sad book. At every corner, almost, you get a sense that इस बंदे के लिए there's some danger, इसके आगे कुछ
yeah,
खतरा है, इसका दिल टूटने वाला है, there's
yeah.
pain. Was this hard to put down in words?
You see, Jammu, pata hai kya? Asal mein, the story itself was inspired by a true story, as you know. The true story itself is a tragedy. The idea of loss, the inherent, like the constant idea of something being lost forever, is an old tragic story. So I find it difficult to write? Yeah, I did. There was a lot of times in the book where you can see. I'm not going to give too much away, but there's very very violent and very extremely sad scenes in the book that I had a lot of difficulty writing.
Mm.
Um, One in particular, there's a really profound story that I held on to a long time ago. Was I don't know if you ever seen the movie Khamosh Pani with the wonderful Kiran Khair. She's the
I've
main
not, but
actress
I
in
know
it.
about it. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that Sikh woman who lives, the Sikh woman who lives in the house of Khan, General Khan, and she's the maid and she takes care of the kids, is actually based on that very character, in which there's a Sikh woman who refused to jump in the well when a mob came to destroy her family, and over time that guilt and remorse comes back to her. So there's a scene in the book which happens much later, in which that remorse kind of takes over her mind, and she begins to lose her marbles pretty much. For me, that was very difficult. I think I was very attached to the character. It became a very sad thing for me when that was happening to her. And you become attached to your characters as they progress, and they tell you what they want really. So,
Mm, yeah. Another major theme is unfulfilled love, which sort of runs throughout the book. There's a sense of guilt or of a desire to bring back what one has lost. Is that something you can also relate to?
Jamie, my friend, you're treading on very sacred ground here. I know what you want me to say, that this is उसका नाम क्या था, कहाँ है वो लड़की, किधर है, कौन है, लेकिन it's
ये
not that
सवाल
easy.
तो
I think
आया. हाँ,
I,
हाँ.
I think I'll take it one at a time, right? So the unfulfilled desire is a universal tragedy, right? So the universal tragedy which is told over and over again, in various forms, and it doesn't have to be the desire for a lover, or it can be the desire for the place you were born, a place, someone that's a complete stranger. Throughout the book, the desire thing comes up a lot, right? On almost on every page, the archangel Gabriel, is wants to be a human being. The General Khan wants to keep his subjects fearful yet respectful of him. And Salim's desire, obviously, for the beautiful Layla Khan and the place where they fall in love. So that's the desire aspect. Now, that actually, what happens to Salim is something that we all struggle with, right? So it's the emotion of guilt, and this formula that is used throughout the book is, what happens to us when we lose something forever. Um, we always try and have this desire to turn back time and to fix what we've done, but that obviously doesn't happen, right? There's no emotion more powerful than the realization that you're an imperfect human being. And when we realize that, we can start to reflect on our character, and Salim goes through this too. And I think myself, I've also been through something like this. So to your earlier question, it's not as simple as I said. So I too have done many things in my life which are I just part of growing up. And the gratification of strangers is very important, but at the same time, I want certain people that I have loved, or are very dear to me. I want them to be proud of me. So I think for me, that keeps me going and wants me to be a better. I want to be a better writer because of that. Yes, the validation, as I said, of strangers is amazing. I like the reviews and all that is great, but it means nothing if not for the people that are close to me that I really, really want to impress, so to speak.
Mhm.
I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. And those, I think the people you're talking about have a lot to be happy about and a lot to be proud about. One more thing, the main character Salim, he traverses three different countries in the span of the book, and in a sense, each part of the book holds up for like a window to the society. And the three very diverse, even in the three countries that he goes to, where he grows up, where he's educated, where he goes, he ends up working for a while. How much of it is a commentary on the politics of these three countries?
So, I mean, I didn't want it to become a political commentary on anything really. It just so happened that while I was doing the edits in HarperCollins India, wanted me to add a little more color to the political aspect of the stories, but it's a reoccurring theme, right? So, I mean, the idea of purity in itself is a very flawed theme. Um, Modi wants a pure kind of world. Imran Khan wants a pure caliphate from God knows when, and there's a different kind of purity that's happening here in the United States, right? So the idea of purity means that there's something that's impure, correct? So this kind of thing was in the background. I didn't really pay too much attention to it in the book, if you see, but it does come up as, and I didn't want the book to be like a warning sign, right? So this is what happens to societies if you put limitations on people's freedoms. But at the same time, it is very important on what happens to the country itself. It's a fictionalized country, and the tagline there is, Pureland can be anywhere.
Yep. There's also an element of magic, there's when I was reading it, I sort of was taken sort of to the world of Salman Rushdie. Who are your influences when you sat down to write, or when you read, your choices of writers?
Yeah, it's interesting you say Salman Rushdie, because I think, yes, he is very inspirational in the form that he writes in. The other thing is that we have a lot in common, right? We pretty much grew up in very similar situations in a fairly upper class, secular Muslim household, and I left my family when I was 18 years old, and so we have a lot of similarities in culture. But inspirationally, I think I had a lot of influences, from Nabokov to Mohsin Hamid himself, and also some other older writers that were Dostoevsky, for example. There's a lot of elements of, the best way to put it this way is like when you start playing the guitar, you start playing covers, right? So I think that's when I learned to write, I was teaching myself. I'm still learning, but when I'm teaching myself to write something, I see what other people have done before me. Not necessarily mimic that, but try and see what the structure is, like how did they put this together. So that's basically that.
Interesting. Now, look, as I said, it's a fascinating book. It makes for gripping reading. Any chances of this being made into a web series, a movie, ebook, something like that?
यार टॉम ऑल्टर का बेटा मेरे से पूछ रहा है कि फिल्म बनानी है कि नहीं बनानी है क्या मतलब
सर आप देख लो.
Of course I would love to have it made into a film. So reach out to your homies, ask them if they're interested. But yeah, no, it's the magic element, like you said before, is essential to the tale, because it's the way we tell stories, right? The South Asian way of telling stories is very magical. Even look at the movies that we have, right? Those made like song and dance. There's a lot of like
fantasy, bilkul fantasy.
There's a lot of fantasy involved, and that's just the way we tell our stories. So it's not a coincidence that a lot of writers that grow up with that kind of cultural background end up doing something that is a bit magical realism type of thing. But magical realism means nothing if you're not rooted in the real. The real part is really important, right? So your story has to be relatable. You can't just have flying angels and monsters and demons and without having any relevance. But yeah, I think that is probably the challenging part. I hope I hope your listeners or your viewers go out and buy the book and enjoy it for what it is. It's a work of fiction, and fiction should be enjoyed. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a work of fiction, and it resonates, I think, especially in the world we live in, increasingly shrinking with narrow mindsets. I mean, I'm not going to get into a political discourse here, but I think there are a lot of things which people can learn from this book. Zarrar, thank you for your time. We have the author of Pureland here, and दोस्तों जाके आप ये book खरीदिए, and we wish you all the success for the book and many copies to be sold. And who knows, maybe someday we're talking about a web series or a movie, like we have chatted. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, मेरे दोस्त.
तो दोस्तों, उम्मीद है आपके आज के हट के इंटरव्यू अच्छा लगा. एज यूजुअल, जैसे मैंने कहा अपनी हर वीडियो में, मैं चाहता हूं कि आप लोग के फीडबैक, अपने कमेंट्स मैं पढूं, और आपकी सजेशंस हो वीडियो को लेके. तो अगर आपको आज का वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो ज़रूर लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, और ज़रूर मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. नमस्ते, जय हिंद.